When Gina Guy lent $1,700 to her boyfriend for emergency dental work, she thought she was helping someone in need. But when the relationship ended, so did his promises to repay. In Judge Judy's courtroom, love took a backseat to logic as lies unraveled, memories faltered, and the truth finally surfaced. This case proves that in matters of money and trust, emotions can't erase the facts, and Judge Judy never lets a liar walk away clean.
Is suing her ex-boyfriend, Richard Archer, for an unpaid loan to have emergency dental work done.
Order. All rise. Yes, case number 62 on the calendar in the matter of Guy versus Archer.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Miss Guy, Mr. Archer was a boyfriend of yours, and you claimed that you made a loan to him for some dental work. He did not repay the loan, and in addition, when you tried to collect after you had terminated the relationship, he began harassing you. He says that the money that you gave him for his dental work was a gift. There was never any discussion of him repaying the money for the dental work, and that you are actually harassing him. Mr. Archer, when did you and Miss Guy start a relationship?
We started a relationship towards late during the summer, probably around August.
September 12th, Your Honor.
Is that what it was, September 12th?
Of what?
September 12th of 2008.
Did you at any time during that relationship live together?
No.
When was it, Mr. Archer, that you found yourself in need of dental work?
Actually, we were in the pool one day, Your Honor.
In the pool?
Yeah, in her swimming pool. And she brought up that she was going to go in and have some dental work done and get some cleaning done. And she was scheduling appointments for her daughter. And I said, well, yeah, that's something I got to get done when I have the money, when I'm financially capable of having it done. And she says, well, I really got a good dental plan down the street here. Why don't we get you in? And I said, well, I don't have the money to do this right now. So, right now wouldn't be a good time. A few weeks went by. She kept encouraging me to go in there. So finally, I went in there.
What did you go in for?
Basically just x-rays and a cleaning. And it turned out that I needed a root canal and some fillings as well.
Did you have any pain, Mr. Archer?
No, I didn't have any pain at the time.
How did you know that you had problems that required a root canal?
I didn't know that I needed a root canal until they started getting in there and digging in my mouth. So they seen it on the x-rays, they seen that I needed a root canal. And then that's when it was brought to our attention, the total amount, which was $1,717.
So first the dentist took the x-rays.
Correct.
And I should tell you, Mr. Archer, so that you don't feel as if you've been coerced or fooled.
Okay.
Both my father and my brother are dentists.
Okay.
So first they took x-rays.
Okay, yes.
And after the x-rays were taken, you had a consultation?
I had a consultation.
With whom?
With the dentist.
Who was present during the consultation?
Present in the consultation was me and the dentist and the RDA, and then they had notified her.
Don't tell me who they notified.
Okay.
All I asked you was who was present during the consultation?
Just the dentist and the RDA.
And at that time, they told you that the bill was $1,717.
Correct, that's the work we were looking at.
And what was the next thing that you did?
The next thing I did was just said stop right there, and they notified her that...
Don't tell me what they notified. That's hearsay.
I said stop right there, Your Honor.
And did you leave?
No, I didn't. I stayed in the chair. And
what did you stay in the chair for?
I stayed in the chair so they could contact her and let her know.
Who told them to contact her? It's not an answer.
She did.
She told them to contact her after your x-rays?
Doesn't look like I'm getting any water.
Is that what you think? Yeah, well, you usually don't need water right away.
No, just my mouth is dry.
Would you get Mr. Archer? Maybe there's water in that carafe. He seems not to have any water.
No, Judge Judy, she told me to call her and let her know what the bill was going to be. Okay?
It's all in the wrist.
Thank you.
Thank you. So she told you to call her and let her know what the bill was going to be. Did you call her?
Yes.
You just told me that they called her.
And they called her too as well.
No. When did you call her?
Right there, right after they called her.
Well, why wouldn't you call her?
Well, actually, because I had a bunch of cotton in my mouth at the time.
Well, you just had a consultation with them.
Well, yeah, they just came in and the cotton was still in my mouth and they were just explaining to me on the computer.
Cotton was still in your mouth from what?
From them lodging things in there. My gums were bleeding.
No, they just took x-rays.
Yeah, because they had the x-ray pieces in my mouth in there and it disrupted some of my gums.
No, they must have been a lousy dentist.
Actually, a really good dentist.
Absolutely not. I never had bleeding gums from taking x-rays.
Okay.
You ever have bleeding gums from taking an x-ray? Taking x? No. Doesn't happen. Mr. Archer, you are so full of baloney. Now that we've finished Once Upon a Time,
Thank you.
and the Three Bears and Goldilocks, how come you got involved with his dental work?
Because he was in the chair and was having the trouble that he had.
What trouble was he having?
Well,
so far I haven't heard any, listen to
Okay,
me, Miss
yeah.
Guy. So far I haven't heard any trouble. So far I heard that he was in no pain, he had no money, and he went to the dentist. And they did x-rays, and they were going to do a cleaning, and they found that he needed all this dental work, but he was in no pain. So I want you to tell me, is that what happened?
I can only testify when I came into the scene. He sent me a text message from the chair stating, they've got my mouth open, they said it's an emergency, I have an abscess. That's why he went in, because he was in pain in his mouth.
That's what you said in your complaint.
I did. That's why I'm saying that was
for the first time.
for the first time when when we were dating. At some point he said, I'm having a lot of pain in my mouth. So he made an appointment to follow through on the pain that he was having in his mouth.
You suggested your dentist.
I suggested my dentist. I had a dentist. My house is across the street from where my girls and I have our own plan. I'm a single mom. I can't put people on my plan. So that's where my girls and I go.
What kind of work do you do, Miss Guy?
I own a fitness ministry, Praise Aerobics.
And what do you do, Mr. Archer?
I'm a master physical trainer.
Do you work in her place? Is that how you met?
At the time, I was helping her, yes.
When was the last time you worked for Miss Guy? Oh, it's not an answer, Mr.
2 weeks
Archer.
before December.
He never worked for me, just so I can state that.
Oh,
he was
no,
never
but
an
I
employee. Did not work for me. He was not a paid employee, no.
That's not true.
Do you get a check from her or cash?
Actually, at the time, you know, I was doing a lot of things for her. And
Like
she
what?
was, well, I was teaching her spine elongation techniques and helping her with her back because she has a spine injury. And I was teaching yoga and stretching classes for her clients as well.
For her clients in her establishment?
Correct.
And you were compensated for that?
No, I didn't ask for anything, okay? She was helping me out with my mouth, and I also did other things as well for her, you know, too, so.
Like what?
There was gym equipment inside her facility that needed to be tore down and repositioned and corrected, and there were multiple stations, and I did that.
And are you telling me, sir, you told me once before that you worked for her. Work for her usually involves some financial remuneration.
Okay.
Are you telling me that you were not compensated for what you did?
No, not cash-wise, no.
Okay.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Gina Guy says ex-boyfriend Richard Archer owes for a loan to have emergency dental work done. Richard says Gina gave him the money.
Now, how long did you do all this work? Months, weeks?
It was during the relationship,
And how long did that last?
4 months.
When did you go to the dentist?
I probably went to the dentist in the second month of our relationship.
What month did he go to the
October 2nd, Your Honor.
And you put the money on your credit card when he called you and said he had an abscess? Is that what happened?
Correct.
So, Mr. Archer,
Yes.
what you are asking me to believe is, as an old jurist
Okay.
and a dentist's daughter,
Okay.
that it was sheer serendipity that you went for x-rays
Okay.
and they found an acute abscess that
Yes.
required root canal on the spot and a post and crown. Just a second. I'm
Okay.
just asking.
Okay,
That
I'm sorry.
requires
Go
a
ahead.
yes. It was pure serendipity.
Okay.
Or no, I was in a little bit of pain, and we may have discussed that I was in a little bit of pain.
Okay.
Which one would you like me to believe?
I went to do a checkup to see what was causing the pain.
Ah, there we have it. That makes my job so much easier because it was not the baloney story you gave me before. You know, when we air this segment,
Okay.
Mr. Archer, you're going to have to watch what you told me before.
Okay.
Because, you see, you are a prime example of if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory.
Okay.
But if you don't tell the truth, you really have to have a good memory, sir, because otherwise I make you look like an idiot. How much
okay.
does he owe you?
The dental bill's $2,000, but I'm definitely suing for more than that.
I gave
believe
her $500
You gave her $500 for what?
on top of the dental bill.
What do you mean you gave her $500 on top of the dental
Oh, I
bill?
thought it was a gift.
2 weeks later, I gave her $500 a gift. Yeah, right.
Just a minute. Hold on a second. 2 weeks later, you gave her $500 for what?
The bill
But don't
was-
look at me. Don't point your finger at me. 2 weeks. I'm looking at your answer.
Okay.
I don't see anything in your answer about $500.
No, but I
so
did-
So that
But I did give it to her
for what?
for the bill to help her out, just like I was helping her out around the house as well with her business.
Like crazy.
So it dropped it to $1,200, and now she's lying about it.
Hey, listen, if you were honest with me to begin with and said to me, look, it was a loan, but I gave her $500. I don't owe her, uncross your hands. Uncross your hands. I don't owe her $1,700. I gave her $500, then we would be in business, you and I. But so far, you have given me 3 distinct stories. One you wrote in your answer, one you told me just a moment ago when I was about to enter a judgment for, but I gave her $500 for what? As a gift? You gave her $500 as a gift? You gave her $500 towards the dental bill because you owed her money for the dental bill. That's why you gave money from her. That's why you gave her money for the dental bill.
But I didn't borrow the money from her.
Just because I hate liars. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,700. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused.
It fell apart when I found out he was actually cycling off of steroids.
Basically, a lot of hyper-religious intentions.
Because his behavior just became completely erratic.
It's just kind of on a psychotic type level.
He was up and down, and that's when I called off the relationship.
Immaculate conception.
I just want to thank God for the immaculate conception.
Being pregnant with God's child.
And don't I still look great?
And it was not in her stomach, that type of thing, so.
No, steroids, stay away from them because you can't think when you use steroids. You're up and down, yeah.
So it's time to exit the relationship.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Taylor versus Tomir. Step forward, please.
Terry Taylor is suing her foster daughter, 20-year-old Christy Tomir, for SUV payments, parking tickets, and impound fees.
Ms. Taylor, the defendant is your former foster child.
That's correct.
She came to live with you as a teenager for a period of time, and you continued a relationship with her, according to your complaint, so that she felt comfortable enough to come back into your home subsequently, and you agreed at some point to co-sign for a truck for her so that she would be independent and be able to go to work and go to school and do stuff. So you did. And it was her understanding and your agreement and your contract that she was going to make the payments on this truck. Take your hands out of your pockets. She was going to make the payments on this truck. Well, the defendant did make payments on the truck for a period of time. She met a boy, got married, had a baby, not necessarily in that order, but she and her husband subsequently separated, and she stopped making payments on the truck. Not only did she stop making payments on the truck, but she couldn't find the right place to park, so she got some parking tickets, and ultimately her car was impounded, probably for those parking tickets. You were contacted by the bank, cost you a whole bunch of money to get the car out of towing to pay off the car, and you want her to be responsible and take care of those bills. That's what the case is about.
Correct.
Right?
That's correct.
Go.
I paid on the car for 2 years, paid $3,000 on it. Up until 9/16 was my September, October, November, December. I missed 4 payments in a row.
You missed 4
payments in a row.
Okay. When was the last time you made a payment? In September?
August.
So you missed September,
Yes.
October, November, and December.
Yes.
You missed 4 months.
On Christmas Eve, I thought the vehicle was stolen because I went out to go home for the weekend, and the car was gone. And it was just odd. I thought that they had taken it back because the payments were late. And the night before...
No, they weren't late. They weren't made for 4 months. Late is when you miss a couple of days.
I wasn't working when my husband and I were married. He up and left one day. Since that point, I know it seems like I was irresponsible. Since that point, I got a place to live on my own, by myself, with no financial help.
Well, that is great. Why'd you get parking tickets? Because that's why the car was towed.
Because I parked in the wrong spot.
How many times?
Twice. And then I got another parking lot ticket down the street for being there for a meter or whatever. I got 2 more of those. So I had quite a few parking tickets.
How many?
I think 5 total, maybe 4.
How many?
I have 11 on this receipt.
Parking tickets?
Different kinds of tickets.
Yes,
Can I see it?
they're listed on the...
And when I found out the car had been taken, I still had 30 days to come up with the money. I called her 4 days later to let her know what happened, and I told her that I would come up with the money to get the car out, and I would do my best to start making payments on it again. She had
Doing
told me
your best doesn't help.
At the
Take your
time,
hands
I
out of
could-
your pockets. Doing your best doesn't help. I mean, I'm not screaming and ranting and raving at you if your husband left you and left you with a baby and you were trying to get yourself together and you found a place to live. All of that is great. Then what you have to say to her, Ms. Tomir, is, and I know that you're looking upset, but what you have to say to her is, look,
I still had time to make the payments before she made the payments for me.
she's a co-signer on your loan. Her credit is destroyed because you didn't make payments for 4 months.
I still
Did
had
you
time.
call?
Yes,
You
the
didn't
bank-
have. You don't
I
have
did.
time.
The bank said I still had 30 days, and
Miss
so did the
Tomir,
repound place.
you don't have time when you miss payments for 4 months. What you're supposed to do is, if you can, renegotiate with them and say, listen, I can't make these payments. Could I cut them in half? Could I cut them in a quarter? Things are difficult now. But you didn't do that. You didn't do that. And you didn't even call her and tell her that...
I did call her.
Did you call her and tell her you hadn't made the payments September, October,
We talked
November?
many times about it. Yes, we did, because we talked many times, and she's like, Christy, you just need to call him. And I said, I know, I haven't made the payments. And
Just
she
a
just need to
second.
call him.
I know, I haven't made the payments. That's not what she said to you. She said you have to call them and try to redo something with this loan.
And I did that, and I still had time before she paid up the money.
Just a second. Show me. You show me something in writing that the bank was willing to give you more time after you missed 4 payments. Show me.
They told me I don't have that.
tell me what they told you. Show
I don't
me.
have that.
Of course you don't. And now after she got the car out of towing, because I have the bills, she got the car out of towing and she paid the bank off.
So my 30 days that I have doesn't matter?
Listen to me. I'm not telling you you had 30 days. You can't show me that you had 30 days. Now that she had to get your car out of impound, which cost how much?
$360.
Okay, $360. In addition to what you owed them for 4 months. And the tickets.
Which were $695.
$695 for the tickets. Otherwise, you couldn't get the car out of impound. Do you understand? The likelihood of you having $1,100.
I had that money within 11 days.
$1,100 plus the 4 months that you owe them on the car is little to none.
I had the money to pay it all off within 11 days. I still had 30 days.
Then you should have paid her.
But I lost
Then
thousands of dollars. I'm paying for taxis. I don't have a vehicle. How should I have paid her?
Listen to me. If you had take your hands out of your pockets. If you had said to her before now, what's your first name?
Terry.
Terry, I appreciate everything you did for me. I understand what the problem is. I understand that I screwed up with you. May not have screwed up with other things, but I understand that I screwed up with you and your credit. I can give you $50 a month towards what I owe you for cleaning up after my mess. I don't want you to be out of money. I can't pay you all at once. I have other expenses to pay. I have other bills. I'll give you $50 a month. That's what you should do.
I tried calling her twice, and both times I got hung up on. The first time I called to tell her that the car wasn't stolen, that it had been repossessed, and I told her that within 3 weeks I would be able to get it out. 2 days later, she paid for it all to get out. So I not only lost the car, I lost a lot of money. And then I called her again right after I found out I was getting sued, and I was just like, you're suing me, you haven't even, we can't work this out any other way. And she said, no, we want our money back. You have 30 days to pay us or we're suing you. But I still had time on my account. Within 11 days, I could have had the vehicle out.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,089. That's all.
Her.
Did you call her and tell her you hadn't made the payment September, October?
We talked many times about it. Yes, we did, because we talked many times, and she's like, Christy, you just need to call him. And I said, I know, I haven't made the payments. And
Just a second. I know, I haven't made the payments. That's not what she said to you. She said you have to call them and try to redo something with this loan.
And I did that, and I still had time before she paid up the money.
Just a second. Show me. You show me something in writing that the bank was willing to give you more time after you missed 4 payments. Show me.
They told me I don't have that.
Now, don't tell me what they told you. Show me.
I don't have that.
Of course you don't. And now, after she got the car out of towing, because I have the bills, she got the car out of towing, and she paid the bank off.
So my 30 days that I have doesn't matter?
Listen to me. I'm not telling you had 30 days. You can't show me that you had 30 days. Now that she had to get your car out of impound, which cost how much?
$360.
Okay, $360. In addition to what you owed them for 4 months. And the tickets.
Which were $695.
$695 for the tickets. Otherwise, you couldn't get the car out of impound. Do you understand? The likelihood of you having $1,100.
I had that money within 11 days.
$1,100 plus the 4 months that you owe them on the car is little to none.
I had the money to pay it all off within 11 days.
Then you should have paid her.
But I lost thousands of dollars. I'm paying for taxis. I don't have a vehicle. How should I have paid her?
Listen to me. If you had take your hands out of your pockets. If you had said to her before now, what's your first name?
Terry.
Terry, I appreciate everything you did for me. I understand what the problem is. I understand that I screwed up with you. May not have screwed up with other things, but I understand that I screwed up with you and your credit. I can give you $50 a month towards what I owe you for cleaning up after my mess. I don't want you to be out of money. I can't pay you all at once. I have other expenses to pay. I have other bills. I'll give you $50 a month. That's what you should do.
I tried calling her twice, and both times I got hung up on. The first time I called to tell her that the car wasn't stolen, that it had been repossessed, and I told her that within 3 weeks I would be able to get it out. 2 days later, she paid for it all to get out. So I not only lost the car, I lost a lot of money. And then I called her again right after I found out I was getting sued, and I was just like, you're suing me, you haven't even, we can't work this out any other way. And she said, no, we want our money back. You have 30 days to pay us or we're suing you. But I still had time on my account. Within 11 days, I could have had the vehicle out.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,089. That's all.
In this case, the plaintiff Gina Guy sued her former boyfriend Richard Archer over $1,700, claiming she loaned him the money for emergency dental work, which he never repaid. Gina stated that Richard had contacted her in pain, saying he needed immediate dental treatment. Since she lived close to the dental clinic and regularly took her daughters there, she referred Richard to the same place. At the clinic, a root canal and other treatments were recommended, totaling $1,717. Gina paid the bill using her debit card after being told it was urgent and Richard was in pain. Richard, however, claimed the money was a gift, not a loan, and that Gina had been harassing him after their breakup. As Judge Judy examined the facts, Richard's statements began to contradict one another. At first, he said Gina called the clinic and agreed to pay. Then, he claimed the clinic called her, and later he said he couldn't speak because his mouth was full of gauze. Judge Judy noted that his story kept shifting and stated that if you tell the truth, you don't need a good memory. But if you lie, you better have a great one. She criticized his lack of consistency and found his testimony unreliable. Meanwhile, Gina's version remained consistent. She said she helped him out during an emergency, expecting repayment. She clarified that their relationship had been short-term, that she was the owner of a fitness ministry and Richard had done some volunteer training work with her, including yoga and stretching sessions. However, she emphasized that she never agreed to give him the dental money as a gift. Judge Judy questioned Richard about the nature of their arrangement and pointed out the difference between helping someone and taking advantage of their generosity. Richard also mentioned that he gave Gina $500 afterward, first calling it a gift, then claiming it was to help cover the dental cost. This contradiction further weakened his defense. Judge Judy dismissed Richard's claims of being harassed, noting that it was natural for someone to ask for repayment of money they had lent. Ultimately, she ruled in Gina's favor, ordering Richard to repay the full $1,700. In her final remarks, Judge Judy scolded Richard for wasting the court's time with falsehoods and reminded both parties that the truth is always the best defense. After the case, Gina stated she broke off the relationship because Richard had become mentally unstable, possibly due to steroid use, and had started referring to himself as a child of God in strange and obsessive ways. She described him as manipulative and emotionally erratic, saying the situation had become too toxic to continue. This case highlighted several key principles often seen in Judge Judy's courtroom. Emotional involvement doesn't override financial responsibility. The truth is always consistent, and lies, especially when tangled with shifting stories, can completely undermine a defense. In the end, Gina was able to reclaim what she was owed, and Judge Judy once again demonstrated why honesty, clarity, and personal accountability are central to justice.